Hello and welcome back. I'm glad you are here. Now you are going to learn how to paint this yellow poppy flower. And here are all of the brushes I'm using, if it helps that I'm showing them. And I am going to write them down too, so you can check them out there too. So first I am using this Casaneo brush, which is size 8, and I'm just gonna paint all of these petals with this shade of color, so it's very light because it's the first layer of color, so we are going to keep that very light, and then we are going to add darker colors on it. So now it's time for green color. We are still keeping that light shade because it's the first layer in this case too. So now it's time for that darker shade of yellow. It's the same color though, but I'm using less water. Of course you have to use it enough to have that wet color, because if it's not wet, it is not going to move anywhere. So yeah, so first you paint with that color a little bit, like you saw what I was doing, like how much I was painting, and then you are going to clean your brush from that color in your water cup or whatever you're using. Where's your water? And then when you have washed or cleaned that brush, you are going to blend that yellow color, so it will be like that ombre effect. And when you have painted like that a little bit, then you're going to clean your brush again and do the same till to the end of the petal. And I was doing some strokes with that previous petal, but you don't have to do them. And yeah, maybe you saw that way better with that or with this petal what I'm painting now. So yeah, I hope these tips or what I'm speaking are helpful for you. I'm very awkward, or I am feeling very awkward when I'm speaking English, but I'm trying to be chill and I'm trying to not think about it too much, because I know how to speak English, but when I'm recording or doing voiceover, it kinda feels so like I haven't speak English at all. And yeah, my English is not perfect though, but I have learned that or studied it from like first grade, so to, well, like 12 years, so I should know how to speak it. Now it's time for stem, So I'm painting with darker color with this tool, and it's pretty wet but not wet like you can see. And then I am adding some water, or I dip my brush on water, and I won't like soak in it, like I will try it a little bit so I can move that darker color like down on the stem. And when it's still wet, I'm adding little dark green dots on it too. And when it comes to this leaf, I will not paint like the same way I did that stem. I'm just like painting that leaf with darker shade of green. That's the same color, green color, which I'm using all this time, and I have mixed that with other shade or other color. And now it's time for some details, which I will paint with this very thin watercolor brush, so it will be so much easier to have those tiny lines. And yeah, I'm just doing those lines here and there. I don't know if you can hear, but birds are singing. With this leaf, I'm being very careful to leave in the middle of the leaf that like light area where I'm not going to paint, so it will be like the vein of the leaf. To create this more like realistic flower, or this poppy flower in this case, I'm adding some yellow parts to it, and when it's still wet, I'm going to only paint those edges of that like yellow area and I will create that ombre effect, or it will look like more natural, like it looks like in nature or not really, but close maybe. I also added on these petals some veins too with this little tiny brush. And here comes the fun part, the easiest part I think. I'm adding those black dots, and it's not that bad if you have painted on those little dots, because you can paint with this black color and it will cover up that yellow color very easily. So yeah, I'm painting those and little strokes too, and adding some like thicker dots too. And also I am adding some darker color in the middle of the flower. The most scariest part of this painting, and let's just say I did some mistakes because I didn't add enough of layers and it did not look like finished painting like in the end of the video. But you can learn from my mistakes, hopefully, and you don't even have to paint this black background if you don't want to, but if you want, add some layers. Yeah, and I actually tried to paint some painting with masking fluid, and I painted with black watercolor, and I will say that you really, it's not recommended to do that, because I did get some black color on the flower too, so so here we go, the most like in the hardest way, but it's possible, but you need some patience and time to paint this background. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you find this video helpful, and my tips too, like I hope they were helpful. But yeah, let's see in my next video. Bye bye.